All right, good morning. I have like no time for fucking around today, basically. We're just gonna get right into this. It feels a little weird. I don't like to be rushed. However, right, because we're in the midst of our, look at me doing an intro anyways, because we're in the midst of, our long work schedule and stuff, we just have less time in general and then other stuff going on in life dealing with. So we don't have a whole lot of time to talk and catch up and chat right now. But at this current moment in time, I only have like 20, maybe 25 minutes tops before I need to leave to go to work here, which is like half the time that these videos usually take me. So we're just gonna get right into it. Still to do a tiny little preface, but yeah, we got the fan going, so you might hear that, and a little bit of outside noise because we got our patio door open again, airing the place out. It's warmer. Yeah, but just little naturey sounds. And I put on this like light pink peachy colored top and this little, I was like, this is giving Libra a little bit. My hair is a little crazy still. We literally got ready in like 5 minutes. I was like, yeah, here's our little in-between manicure thing that we got going on. New hollow on top. Okay, let's just get into it. We gotta go. I wrote a lot too, which is good, so we won't like stray off the path too much talking about other things since I already wrote a lot of what I want to say down. But I don't know, it's going to be very speedy Gonzalez here. Okay, let's go. Libra is a cardinal air sign ruled by Venus, occupying the 7th house, representing our karma associated with our partnerships, including things like our shared foundations, long-lasting or committed relationships, unity through the mirror, or other intimate, romantic, or professional agreements and alliances, balanced, cooperative, harmonious, and mutually fulfilling dynamics, interrelationship complexities and challenges. And then the law, including things like equality, fairness, justice, legal structures and practices, public, private, consistency through systems, organization, harmonization, corruption, and then spiritual, universal, and metaphysical. And then last but not least, unity, including things like inner and outer union with self and or others, worldwide or larger scale unification, globalization, which includes things to like further point if we were to break it down, culture, politics, economics, and then the flow of ideas between people and services. Okay, yeah, just let me see here. Oh, air is not working. Why not? The air is not going down. Okay. I heard the plane go over. I'm like, hopefully that's not distracting. We're in a rush. Okay. The sun. The sun recently entered Aries on the same day as the spring equinox, welcoming us into the start of another astrological year, joining Neptune, Saturn, and Chiron. After conjoining Chiron in the late degrees of Aries, Venus enters Taurus once again, which is it's home to us. It's my natal position. I think that was just the other day. It just happened. Whilst Mars enters Aries next week at the last quarter moon, Mercury conjoining Neptune just days later as we approach the Aries new moon. This is a great time for taking a closer look at the karma or karmic lessons associated with them and how they're at play in both our personal lives as well as the collective conscious. Okay, yeah. And I began writing this last week. Again, I was gonna initially film this over the weekend, and then some things came up and then into the start of this week, and we just haven't had the time for other things that took precedence over filming this. So my nose. So yeah, we're going to talk about that too, actually. It's funnily enough, our itchiness in this note. So let's go on. We're just going to plow through here. Light attributes of Libra. Graceful, charming, fair-minded, diplomatic, flirtatious, idealistic, sociable, intellectual, stylish, pleasant, natural, admirable, attractive, beautiful, accommodating, lovable, sincere, affectionate, peacemaking, selfless. And then shadow attributes of Libra are indecisive, procrastinating, vain, superficial, avoidant, passive-aggressive, people-pleasing, melodramatic, manipulative, delusional, spoiled, aloof, vindictive, resentful, dishonest, controlling, paralyzed, opportunistic, regretful. And funnily enough, there's this one tattoo shop that posts videos online, and every now and then their shorts will come up on my thing. I actually don't know the name of their tattoo shop, but I think it's like a dad and at least his son, if not multiple of his kids, work with him in the shop. But oh my gosh, I wish I knew what it was called. And he always makes fun of Libras. Like that's like one of his shticks. And he always like tells these interesting stories regarding like tattooing and different like life related stuff. So yeah, I just him always like getting on Libra's back. It just reminds me of that. But I don't know what they're called, but if anyone knows. Okay. Our reflection. Okay. Partnerships. How satisfied or fulfilled am I within my current partnerships? Am I able to identify what present challenges or complexities exist within my relationships? What aspects of my partnerships am I needing to learn from and or let go of? I want to slow down so bad. I'm like, oh, I feel like, but the only thing is, so our other option, right, was we can wait until tonight when I get home late to film it. But like, I have to go in early tomorrow morning and I'm like, we're not going to stay up to try and film this really late at night. And then again, because we're working like through the weekend into next week, I'm in the middle of that like 13-day weeks stretch. And so we like don't have the time off. And even though I could do it over this upcoming weekend when we have some time and just have the video out kind of late, I was like, I don't really want to like wait to have to do it then either because I have other stuff going on. So we're just going to use this little period of time here that we have before we go into work to film it. But I don't like it being rushed, but we're 6 minutes in. That means I have like, 25 minutes or so left. Let's go. Okay. Not even. What do my hair's in my eyes. Help. What do my ideal partnerships feel like for me personally? What areas of my partnerships are needing more of my focus and resources? How am I able to co-create with my partners to help achieve both of our goals and visions for any particular relationship? How am I able to create more fulfillment for myself personally despite any challenges within my relationships? What tools or resources are available to me in the cultivation and expansion of my chosen partnerships? The other thing, just touch on, I have two, I think it's this finger and then this finger. I tore the skin off like around the cuticle. It was one and then the other because I was just, like when you're like thinking about things and I don't have like a toy with me to like stim with, then I will start doing those like more harmful things. And so I was like, I picked the skin around two of my fingers and now they were bleeding yesterday and now they're like so sore and like stingy. And it's just this like ever present like reminder. And it's like, oh, like when you get like a little paper cut or something and then you get soap or like sanitizer or something in it and it just starts burning constantly. Okay, yeah, it's kind of like that. But so as we're talking, I'm like, I also have that like mild pain going on in her fingertips. Continuing on, law. How is my relationship with the law, legal systems, and are creating order from chaos? What role do I personally play within these systems in both my own life as well as that of the wider world? In what ways have I been discouraged by, discriminated, or fought against, treated unfairly, or have yet to receive justice within the law? In what ways have I been encouraged by, equally recognized, or fought for, treated fairly, or have received justice within the law? What have I learned from the law that I am in support of the continuation and expansion of? How would I like to contribute towards the creation of different aspects within the system, if not a new system entirely? And that's 3 out of 5. We wrote, and some of these have like 2 to 3 questions per each too. We wrote a lot for this one. Which I was a little surprised by. And I felt like it was all important to keep in just because of some of our own experience, again, since I was a child, dealing with some of these things. And then, what else was I going to say? Yeah, and just how it's like relevant to different things going on in the world right now. And some of it we'll talk about up above. Yeah, but we wrote a lot for reflection on this. So, okay, in what ways have I, gained from and or received support from outside of these man-made systems? How have I grown in knowledge, wisdom, creatively, monetarily, relationally, etc.? What is my awareness or familiarity with systems of order, power, and authority beyond those of my current residence? Are there any systems or laws I'd be interested in learning more about? And then last, our unity section. Is unity something of value within my own life and or the wider world? If so, what does union of the self and others mean to me personally? What would this feel and look like to me? In what ways am I and or others able to contribute to wholeness, whether in mind, body, and or spirit? What would a more unified or whole world feel and look like to me personally? How am I able to help in co-creating this with others, both within my own life as well as in the wider world? What areas of this world as a whole am I most interested in being a part of their creation, cultivation, and expansion? How am I able to use my unique and specialized mind, gifts, talents, and or skills towards a common goal within these areas? Yes, okay. Now we're good up into the juicy stuff. I wrote a lot, so much so, again, I had to color code it between like 4 different colors because of all the paragraphs. So quick. This is actually not that bad. 10 minutes in. And we got the bones down, the foundation down of our note here so that we can get into the juices. Yeah, and it's 12:25. I need to leave in like 15 minutes. 10, 15 minutes. We can do that. Okay. Let's shoot for 10. Okay, so for us, our personal placements, we have Libra sits in our 5th house, or Leo 5th house. And it contains our Jupiter and 6 asteroids. And then our 7th house, which is typically associated with Libra, contains a Sagittarius. So Sagittarius in the Libra 7th house. And that contains our North Node, our descendant, and 13 asteroids. So I said here, now we're just going to start reading off our note, all the paragraphs, and we'll, touch on it as we go here. Let's see. Since we've already written and filmed both of the Leo and Sag moon videos, we've already touched on some of these topics, my personal placements in relation to these energies. But we'll share just a bit more as we're wrapping up this series and before we enter the next chapter of our story. Yeah, so we have just one last moon video in Aries in the coming weeks, and then we're starting something new. Yeah. Okay. Fun fact for you. According to my draconic chart, I would have initially incarnated as a Libra sun, if we go all the way back. It's kind of fun to look at, consider. So if we were to really reach all the way fucking back to, I don't know, let's just say the beginning of time, perhaps, we might just be able to gather a little crumb diddly-ummage, little of information or ideas of what we may have learned from that time experience or simply through our imagination. But as we know quite well, imagination can be a powerful tool, isn't it? Okay. And then, oh my God, this part's kind of funny. A song that kept coming to my mind as I was writing this note, and it's because this one line. So, it's called Pussy by Iggy Azalea. That song with both the S's are like dollar signs. I said especially the intro, which is a clip from the early 90s film Boomerang. It has a great cast. We might have to find a way to watch it again soon when I have time. I don't know when that'll be, but yeah, it'd be fun to watch for this spring here. I think it's like a romantic comedy, which I don't typically like, but, this one, again, has like a good enough cast, and so we'd be down for it, yeah. A lot of those like old SNL actors. And okay. Yeah, and then I'm thinking about attaching a clip in the description for funsies, your viewing pleasure, that I'm referencing here that we're going to be talking about. So Grace Jones, she shouts Merdualo, which sounds, to me, when I first heard this back in 2012, it almost sounded to me like I'm mad at the law or mad at the law. Medualo, kind of, right? So it became like a little stim for us, and every now and again something will come up that reminds me of it, and so that little phrase came to my mind as I was writing this, and then we went back and like watched the video for it and stuff. I just had deja vu, like I was talking about this before. It means something along the lines of like, oh shit, or oh fuck, holy shit, fuck, shit then, fuck then, or damn it. Something along those lines, right? Interchangeable depending on who you're talking to or where you're from. She goes on to talk about her pussy and calling people gay in the restaurant. Love her. So this is back in early 2012. I was 18 at the time, and I heard of Iggy from one of my friends in college. This was our Tumblr days and listening to all sorts of music, but I've always had a love for smaller, underground, or like up-and-coming artists. We were listening to Kitty Pryde and like early Childish Gambino before he rose to fame, like his early EPs and stuff. As far as the rap genre goes, I had even posted some lyrics from Iggy's song, like the tasting the rainbow Skittles, on a Facebook post. And this one dude in particular, and then some other people who knew me, got scared and were reaching out to me to check on me, making sure I was okay because they thought I might be doing drugs. I was like, nope, I'm good. Just a song that I like. I said I tried smoking weed at the time briefly with friends while I was in college, but not for long. And I've been on the receiving end of all kinds of accusations, even the drug ones, again, since I was a kid, which is crazy, but this is the world, right? I said, even my own grandma, literally, she used to question me. Like, I would itch and scratch myself a lot, especially my face and nose, which I still to this day do, even though I've seen an allergist now, and they weren't very helpful. But it's just, I don't know. But at the time, yeah, she said it looked like I was on coke, and so she told me to stop. Yeah, instead of, taking me to the doctor and maybe finding out why that was happening. Can we say medical neglect? Okay, only to find out many years later after I moved and started getting help for myself when a doctor took one look up my nose and said the airway was completely blocked and that I had rhinitis. Yeah, and that's like an allergic reaction kind of thing. But again, other than this one medication, they gave me this liquid to like shoot up my nostrils, which can also contribute towards like depression and things like that. So I like stopped taking that when I was in high school. I took it for a little while. I was just like, this is not doing anything for me. We've just kind of like dealt with it ever since then. And we tried to like change our diet and lifestyle and things like that, but it still persists. So I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm just an itchy gal. Okay. But no drugs. I'm really just like this, whatever this is. We now know that it might just be neurodivergence paired with naturally high energy and an abundance of love and joy. Again, we might be on the spectrum. I can see now why people took us the wrong way for so long. We don't quite fit into the disturbing environment and world we were born into. We actually tend to stand out like a sore thumb despite any efforts of trying to hide or dim ourselves for so very long. So I know Iggy was a bit controversial, but she, like so many others, deserved so much better getting into the industry so young. It's honestly no surprise what's happened. But again, we see this is just another one of those examples of the same things playing out that are just as relevant today as they were then. And love that cunty song despite the controversy. Yeah. That song is not in our cunty playlist, but maybe we need to add it now since it came to mind again. Okay. All right. Yes. So we were taking some liberties with this note, really digging up some ideas pertaining to the karma section outside of what we could find online or through the Vedic systems, and writing more of what we understand and believe Libra's association origin to be with some of these things. Because again, everything that I was reading and looking for, at least that was like available online pertaining to this, it all had to do with partnership, relationship, marriage, union related things, which is like great. That is very like much a part of this. But I feel like when we're talking about like our karmas in relation to Libra, there's a lot more that we could do. And I didn't find as many people talking about that. So that's where we added the law section and the unity section. I see as being a realistic part of this, and things that we haven't gone into depth on in any of the other moon videos. So they found their place here. My own placements add to our personalized twist, as we have Jupiter in Isis is one of the asteroids we have in Libra, along with Juno in our Leo 5th house, as well as our North Node and Descendant in Sag in our Libra 7th house. And because we're magically minded, we tend to incorporate those related themes, particularly of the major arcana, such as bringing in like the strength and the sun for Leo, and then justice and judgment for Libra, with a little Scorpio Pluto twist flavor thrown in there, as is our dominance. Just a little, deeper note or reflection on our like way of thinking and how we work with the energies practically, realistically, and we create these things. Okay. A note on karmic relationships. Oh, here we go. So I think we've touched on this before. Again, in one of those related videos, whether that's Sag or Leo. Yeah, we might have touched on this before, but this is, let's just go. Okay, so how we define karmic relationships. I mean, individuals brought together for the purpose of soul growth, which reflects the deeply spiritual or otherworldly aspects to our physical or material world. Whether there's karma to be worked out between people, such as pertaining to past life choices, or we feel fated or destined to experience or share in something together, can be found from looking within and utilizing not only our own intuition, but other tools such as the natal chart, checking our personal astrology, as well as shared overlapping or synastry with another person, and plenty of other esoteric means. And I have touched on before too in some of the other videos about some things relating to this, like the importance and prevalence of like Pluto per se, or Neptune. Uranus is another one, right, where certain placements like this, depending on like how dominant they are in our own chart, and again how they would overlap with another person, can create very interesting dynamics relating to like power, control, illusion, deception. I mean, all different kinds of things, right? And so it's something to look at. And so people can have certain experiences with people based on the energies underlying or archetypes and themes within our subconscious mind and how they're interwoven with another person, right? And that can sometimes confuse people and lead them to believe something about another person that isn't true, or to experience things in a totally different way than another person. And this is why it's important to maintain a logical, rational mind, as well as, being able to like feel within our emotional body, like have a whole experience, and not necessarily cut ourselves off in one place or the other. Get distracted by confusion, by illusions. Get to know ourselves so that we can get to know other people properly. Okay, my timer, I just got the notification that it ended, so 5 or so minutes here. We gotta finish this up. Okay. The greater we know ourselves and our own karma, the better we are able to assist others in their own journey, primarily through our own example and then through close relations, if we so choose. While we can technically accept or reject learning with or from certain people, the lessons attached to them will remain. And so the universe is quite diligent and skillful in creating all kinds of ways for us to be able to learn, no matter what it may take or how far we may need to travel. The more we connect with our own heart and higher energy centers, higher self, or God, the more free will we have access to, as we are not operated from a position of fear, lack, or insecurity within ourselves, which will undoubtedly influence our judgment and decision making, often leaning towards a more negative experience or what can simply feel like a harder or more difficult path. But nevertheless, is still always our own choice. When we struggle or outright fail to accept responsibility and accountability for ourselves and our own lives, we will inevitably seek and find, although often unconsciously, people or situations to blame, to account for, or to scapegoat in place of ourselves, which not only hurts others, but ultimately hurts ourselves, and continues the cycle of violence and suffering that we are collectively working very hard to putting an end to. Ooh, some of these are like very long sentences. But again, we're like, get all the information in there, very concise, very efficient. Okay, so we get to decide, and it helps to remind ourselves of this often, daily, even any chance we get, that we ultimately decide our own fate and create our own reality as we co-create this world we are living in together. Yes, this world has been fucked up. Yes, this is true, which has been becoming increasingly more blatant and obvious to the masses over time, and especially in this current time as we have collectively shifted through major cycles together, and will continue to do so until the end of time, which is very Saturn coded. No, not any one individual or even group of people is solely or singularly responsible or to blame for all that is seemingly going wrong, horrifyingly haywire, or the suffering that persists. However, we do all play both an individual and collective role in the healing, integration, and restructuring of this world. For people, and especially as children who were once blamed themselves, scapegoated, or simply sensitive souls who strongly felt and took on the burdens of others that never belonged to them in the first place, who lacked boundaries to keep them safe and from harm because they were never taught by those meant to protect them, who carried and continued on recreating the mistakes or past patterns of their family's lineage, and so many of those who have gone before us. My heart beating a little faster as I'm talking about this. These are the people who surround us, who make up the systems that we are currently trying to restructure. And I think, too, part of like what got us on a roll going, talking about some of these things when we were writing it all down, and why we feel so strongly about it, too. Again, I think of people I love, people I've spoken with recently, things going on in their own lives, younger people, children who are really struggling at this time. And, if anything, that really lights a fire under my asshole. Okay, so let's continue on. These are the adults with the minds or egos of a wounded child that is still making decisions for them because no healthy adult has stepped forward and been able to take their place or show them how to heal and do better or do things differently. This is the masses, the majority of our population, from the least of us to the so-called greatest. From those in hiding, privacy, who we may never see, know, or hear from, in positions of worldly power, as well as those impoverished. I have like 1 minute left. I don't care. We're going to finish this, even if I'm a little late. This is the people we walk by, talk, and interact with on a daily basis. Those we see online, on our phone screens, in the theaters. High and low, rich and poor, seen and unseen, at least according to the old world. The one in which outdated systems persisted to maintain the illusion of power and control that we once believed another or any others had over us, our own sovereignty, and therefore our own lives. It does not truly exist, not outside this man-made physical reality or structure of our world, not in the spiritual reality or higher realms, which truly is the foundation and makes up everything that we see and experience through our consciousness. Not in terms of energy or energetic resonance, not in the eyes of God or the universe, not in the eyes of what is and forever will be the truth, what some call ma'at, the judgment that has already happened and made the way for the birth of a new world we see, once again with new eyes, almost as a newborn child, that we are indeed forever loved, seen, and held by this universe and will forever be taken care of no matter what we live through and experience together. Okay, Opa, what power does any one man or system truly hold in a world of our own creation? Only the power we give to them, the power we give away, that when rightfully recognized, retrieved, and redistributed, changes the very foundations of the ground we walk upon as well as everything built upon it. To build something better, more efficient, sturdier, long-lasting, or sustainable. Whatever old and corrupted thing. Can you imagine being called that or calling someone that? You old and corrupted thing, you. We didn't write that, but just now I had that thought. I was like, just think of someone who's like old and corrupted. Can you imagine calling them that? Let me talk to him. Where he at? Bring him to me. I'm like, you old and corrupted thing, you. You little fucker. That once stood in that place or position must be destroyed first. Broken down before it can be rebuilt. We see this in the symbol of the tower in the major arcana and the energies associated with it. What can initially appear and even feel rather frightening and destabilizing will often reveal itself more clearly over time as the dust and rubble settles and the old structure or stone, brick, what have you, is swept and carried away. Just as is so common and shared amongst us all as just one of many of our fears. Change is necessary. Our growth and evolution as a human species is hinged upon our ability to surrender, to learn, and practice continually letting go of old ways of believing, thinking, and feeling within our own bodies and therefore our own world. What windows or doors can we open and even enter through to consider a new or different perspective? Let a little breeze blow through. We got our patio door open and our fan blowing. Airing out the old rooms. What would it look like if we considered and possibly even adopted a new way of understanding ourselves as truly a part of and not apart from the world around us, as being united or one with our environment through heart, mind, and body? And that's it. We're going to end there on, a question. We left it kind of open-ended there. Yes, I think that is about it. We did good. Oh, 28 minutes. Let's go, bitch. Yeah. We did it. Okay, and I gotta go. I wish we had more time to talk, but it's not in the cards for right now what we got going on. We're quite busy at this time period. Spring. We're ramping up, bitch. It's Aries season. Venus is in Taurus now too, so we got a little bit of, we got a lot going on. Okay. I do love you though, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.